This Coast to Coast Entertainment Network program is brought to you by Beside Me Bracelets. Our bracelets are handmade for any occasion. Use the promo code Coast to Coast for 15% off. Visit their website at besideme.com. Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry. With 24-hour shopping available, use the code 160920 and show her some love, like she showed us. Reaper Apparel Company, a commitment to live your most authentic way every single day. Visit reaperapparelco.com for more information and a look at all of their apparel offerings. And by Good Day Embroidery, your local source for custom embroidery, screen printing, and more. Log on to gooddayembroidery.com for more information.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Crispy Bacon here, Chris Mabry. Welcome to another edition of the Diehard Football Podcast. Here on Coast to Coast Entertainment Network, live streaming also on the Diehard Football Podcast YouTube page. Go check out those, social media networks, and check out all of our shows here on Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. It is December 19th, 2024. We're getting close to Christmas, the holiday season. A lot of football going on, so I thought I'd come on and kind of go over what's going to happen over the next few days, few weeks. Any other news that is going on in football. So with that, we're going to start with the big headline story, especially in college football. We talked about it last night on Sports Hour. If you missed that, you can check it out on Facebook or YouTube under the Coast to Coast Entertainment Network, pages. I'm trying to make it bigger, but here's the first round matchups of the college football playoff. Indiana taking on Notre Dame. SMU taking on Penn State. Clemson at Texas, and Tennessee at Ohio State. I'm thinking that all four home teams are going to win it and move on to the second round matchups. I also think that SMU is going to have a tough game with Penn State. It's going to be cold. People like me in Texas, we're not used to the cold. I mean, it does get chilly, but it's going to be super, super cold. And I think that it's going to be a tough game for SMU. Luckily, it's not at night, which is a good thing for them. But that's going to kick off Saturday, the Saturday slate of games. Overall, the playoff is going to start with Indiana taking on Notre Dame, 7 p.m. on ESPN and ABC. And then you got the SMU Penn State game, noon Eastern on TNT and Max. Also at TNT and Max, 3 Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. Clemson at Texas. Hopefully Texas can start out really quick. Hopefully, they don't have a slow start. And then to end it, you have Tennessee taking on Ohio State. That should be a good matchup. But I'm just thinking that every team that's playing at home is supposed to win. But I could be wrong. Anybody can win this, this playoff. And that's what I'm thinking. What's y'all's thoughts in the comments? Let me know what you guys are thinking of who will win this first round matchup. It's going to be the first round matchup in the college football playoff. It should be fun. as well as all the other bowl games in college football. And then with further ado, we will take a look, if I can get it up. We have the week 16 slate of games in the NFL. There we go. Getting that up for you people. It is live. So bear with me. There we go. Week 16 NFL schedule. It starts out tonight. Starts tonight with the Broncos taking on the Chargers. Thursday Night Football. I think this was originally flexed out. And then now it's flexed back in to Thursday Night Football. I'm thinking it's gonna be I'm going with the Broncos in this one. I know it's Justin Herbert's at home. I'm thinking it should be a victory for LA, but I feel like Bo Nix is playing really well. And that this is a must win for, this is a must win for the Broncos and the Chargers, really. And that's why I'm thinking it's going to be the Chargers losing and the Broncos winning. Looking at the playoff scenario for Denver, it's basically simple. Win and in for Denver. But if they don't do that, they got the Bengals, the Colts, and the Dolphins all have to lose to get into the playoffs this week. Now, as for the Chargers, they're limited. They clinch a playoff berth, but it's going to be a little harder. They have to win, and the Colts have to lose, and the Dolphins have to lose. That's trickier than what Denver has to go through. So I'm thinking that the Broncos have this somewhat in the bag. I'm not going to say they have it totally in the bag, but I'm thinking that they have a chance to win it. Next, you have the first Saturday game of the season, other than, at the beginning of the season or whatever, or Christmas. The Chiefs hosting the Texans. Chiefs and Texans already in. Texans already won their division, the AFC South. Chiefs, they're locked up a position in the playoffs. You have quarterback Patrick Mahomes, who's injured, but is willing to play if needed. But this is big for Kansas City, as they can get a first round bye and home field advantage if they win and Buffalo loses. So Buffalo has to lose. Kansas City has to win in order to get the first round bye in the AFC. As for Houston, there's not much to go over, as they don't have a scenario for this matchup. So for Kansas City, it's all on the line for them. I'm thinking Kansas City is going to win it. You also have on Saturday. Pittsburgh and Baltimore should be a fun matchup. Baltimore's at home in this matchup, and they do have a clinching scenario for them in the playoffs. Just win. That's all they got. And they most likely will get in the playoffs with this win. But if they don't, they need the Dolphins and the Colts to lose. I think just winning this game will help them get into the playoffs. And then finally on Saturday, a game I feel like it's going to be a dud, especially if you're a Falcons fan, excuse me. You have the Giants and the Falcons. As for their playoff scenario, or somewhat playoff scenario, the good thing is Atlanta doesn't have an elimination do or die um, you know, playoff scenario. So even if they lose, they're not eliminated. Uh, However, the Giants are eliminated. They've been eliminated for a while. As we get into, or is that the Sunday games? I believe that was a Sunday game. Giants at Falcons. So next you have the Cardinals and the Panthers. The Cardinals, they're still holding on hope, but the Panthers are already eliminated. But for the Cardinals, if they lose and the Rams win, they're out. That's it. If both teams win, then with a loss and a Rams win, you're knocked out of the West Division title race. Oh, I mean, Cardinals are doing good. They've held their own, and I think the Cardinals can do it. I don't trust Carolina. Next, you have Detroit versus Chicago. I think Detroit's going to beat Chicago. There's not much to say about this matchup. Detroit already clinched a spot in the playoffs, whereas Chicago is already eliminated from the playoffs. But nonetheless, a big division matchup. I got Chicago in that one. Another division matchup, Tennessee versus Indianapolis. The Titans versus the Colts. In this rivalry, if you want to call it that, the Colts are eliminated from the playoffs if they lose and the Chargers win. So yeah, just win your game. That's all I got to say about that. Win your game. I got the Colts in this one. Looking at the two quarterbacks, it looks like Mason Rudolph is going to start for Tennessee. It is the holiday season. Why not start Rudolph? He seems like to come in December anyways. Why not put him in the mix? Rams and the Jets. Rams are kind of like the Cardinals in that they are holding out hope in the NFC, but the Rams can control their destiny, so to speak, and they're not in threat of being eliminated. Whereas the Jets, even though they have Aaron Rodgers, are eliminated. And I don't think there's nothing to come back from for New York. Then you just need to find another quarterback. Eagles at Washington. Washington just needs to win to stay in it. They can't have Dallas to lose. Eagles, I believe, have clinched already. if not will. Philly can clinch the NFC East division with a win. And I kind of figured that much. But it looks like they are already in the playoffs. Yeah, they are in the playoffs. They are currently at the number 2 seed. So you're in the NFC, you got the Lions. The Lions, the Eagles, the Buccaneers, and the Rams holding your 4 spots, your first 4. And the Vikings, who are in the playoffs, Green Bay and Washington at 5, 6, and 7 respectively. In the NFC or AFC, you got your top 4 teams, with 3 of them already clinching their spots. You got the Chiefs, Bills, Steelers, and Texans, at seeds 1 to 4 respectively, and then 5, 6, 7. You have the Ravens, the Broncos, and the Chargers, holding 5, 6, and 7 respectively. The Chiefs, the Bills, and the Texans won the divisions. There's still one division left who needs to clinch, and that is Pittsburgh. And for Pittsburgh, I think we talked about it. They just win. If they win their game, they're in with the division. I mean, they're in already, but they're really in with the division. Browns, Bengals. Bengals have the better opportunity. There's a lot riding on this game for Cincinnati. Cleveland already switching quarterbacks again. And I think that Cincinnati can win this game. Minnesota and Seattle, there's not much to play for from Minnesota. Seattle, there's a lot on the line. It is going to be a tough environment for Minnesota in this game, being that it's with the 12th man. Seattle doesn't have a scenario, but they're not out of it either. I think this is going to be a fun matchup. I got Minnesota winning this game. And heading into next season, I'm thinking it's going to be a tough road for Minnesota. They do have McCarthy coming back after injury, but is it going to be the same? Who knows? Maybe they feel like they need one more year with Darnold. But hey, anything's possible. Patriots, who are already eliminated, going to Buffalo, New York to take on the Bills. We all know who's going to win that game, and that's going to be Buffalo. I think New England's just been a shell of themselves, so to speak. And I'm thinking they just need to scrap whatever they're doing and go to square one again next year. Jacksonville taking on the Las Vegas Raiders, and I'm thinking that the Raiders could win at home. Both these teams are not doing too well, but Raiders seem like they have an edge against Jacksonville. And we have the 49ers versus the Dolphins. Big matchup for these two teams in different conferences. If we're looking at San Francisco, they're just trying not to get eliminated from the divisional race, as they do have one. If they lose, they're out of the NFC West title contention. And then also you can have a lot of factors in if they don't do that. As for the Dolphins, I believe they too have an elimination contention. If they lose and the Chargers win, the Dolphins, well, they floundered. It's over for them. Whereas the Bengals as well, we talked about it when they faced the Browns. Cincinnati can be eliminated if they lose this game. I don't think they're going to lose it. I think it's going to be a tough game because it's it's one of those games where it's like, who wants to win it more? At this point, if you're Cleveland, do you win and move up in your draft, or do you not and see what happens? Do you get a better pick? Our final two matchups, you have the Cowboys in hosting Tampa Bay and the Saints and Packers. I'm thinking Dallas is going to win that game against Tampa, and the Packers win their game. That's what I think of week number 16 of the NFL. You also know that Bill Belichick is now in North Carolina. West Virginia signed a new head coach, and more bowl games are coming. So, with that, thanks everyone for watching and tuning in. I'll be back next week for another episode of the Diehard Football Podcast. Enjoy football, enjoy the holidays. I'll see you guys next week.